This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
I'm your host, author, writer, learner, sister, Abena Sankofa, and welcome back to Black and Privileged in America podcast, Power, Love, and Money Conversations to Advance Black Thriving, supported by Infinite Resources. Catch Black and Privileged in America podcast on www.amplifydsm.com, on our YouTube and social media channels, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm thrilled to have all of you join us for part 2 of my conversation with the remarkable John Martin Sr. A true embodiment of resilience and transformation, John's journey from inner city Des Moines to becoming a successful entrepreneur, author, and mentor is nothing short of extraordinary. In our previous episode, John shared his personal journey, the importance of connection, and maintaining a positive mentality despite life's challenges. Today, we dive even deeper into his experiences, lessons he's learned, and the impact he continues to make. So, John, welcome back.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I appreciate the invite back.
I mean, I couldn't help it. We weren't done.
Myself.
We were just scratching the surface last time.
That's true.
And so, I mean, we're talking about you, just you, and what it means to be you. Founder and CEO of Team Strong Inc., founder and CEO of the wildly successful Sebastian Cho line.
Thank you.
Founder and CEO of Classy Auto Rentals.
That's correct.
And author of a children's book and the 8 Conversations to Have series.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does that feel like?
It feels great, but it also feels like I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Know? But it feels very rewarding. Like I've been embraced, and it's incredible.
Embraced by whom?
By my surroundings, wherever I go, pretty much.
That's really dope, because I think a lot of times when people are starting businesses from the ground up, like this is bringing something an idea that was in your head, bringing it to life. It's really hard to get the people sometimes closest to you to see the vision.
Yeah.
Did you have that problem?
Yeah, pretty much. At times, it seems like sometimes the people close to you, just because they're close to you, that doesn't mean that they have a business sense. It doesn't mean that they understand what you're doing. But I had to realize that not everybody has to understand, at this point. So I look forward to the people. I focus more on the people that embrace me. You know what I mean?
Showing love to the ones who love you. That's cool. Yeah.
Even though I feel like I am love, I feel like, if you're around me, you're gonna feel my energy. My energy's good, but sometimes it's not as receptive. But I'm not paying attention to that. I'm paying attention to who rocks with me.
I want to kind of just walk through each one of these business initiatives that you have. So Team Strong Inc., what is that, and what do you do at Team Strong?
Team Strong Inc., we've been around since 2011, March of 2011. So we just hit another anniversary. I'm very thankful to have this business. It started out, right now it's Team Strong Inc. is a marketing and strategy. We're consultants. We help small to large businesses grow, spread awareness of the brand. We deal directly with branding, merchandising. We deal with a lot of local businesses as far as restaurants. And we cater to having businesses spread awareness in different ways to the Black and Latino why am I getting stuck right now?
It's all good. I think the Black and Latino market, really.
Yeah. The market, because there's certain ways that we have to advertise to certain different groups, and that's what we specialize in. We specialize in helping our communities reach the people that are in the community.
That's excellent. Black women in particular, are the fastest growing group of business owners. But in Iowa, the Latino population is the fastest growing group demographically. So I think you're hitting on two really incredible market parts of the market with that. So tell me about Sebastian Cho, this amazing line that you are rocking right now. These
the glasses, yes, and the bag, yes.
Yeah.
So Sebastian Cho, it was basically, I've been playing around with this name forever, and I was gonna come out with some novels. I'm still coming out with some novels under that name.
Novels. So you got books coming?
Yeah.
Okay, that's new. Yeah.
Fiction. And then also, so basically, last year, so I've been selling merchandise for decades. I used to go to New York a lot and buy wholesale in the fashion district, and I always loved selling products. But what I really like is sunglasses. I love sunglasses. Every time you see me, I'm probably in a pair of sunglasses.
I can't remember the last time I saw your whole face, John.
Yes. So, so I love sunglasses. So I found the opportunity to design my own line, and I always love bags too. One reason why I worked at the airport for so long is my fascination with bags. Like, I love luggage. It's just something I like to do. So accessories is what I'm not really dealing with a lot of the clothing, as far as like sizing and stuff like that. I'm just dealing with accessories like the handbags, and the sunglasses. I have some socks that are coming, and just added things to elevate your vibe at the moment.
So what are men telling you? Because I know your line, Sebastian Cho, is for everybody, but I know in particular men are drawn to your products. So what are they saying about the glasses and the bag? I can't imagine what they're going to say about future products, but what are they telling you now?
It's incredible. It's overwhelming because, like, the glasses, one thing that a lot of people are telling me, and it's just, and again, it is a gender neutral line. So it's about 50-50 on who's buying when it comes to male and female. A lot of times they're buying the same products, but what they're actually saying is the glasses fit perfectly. They really do. Like, I can't even explain it. I don't know why these like how they're engineered is just a little different. They feel good. Like, I could wear these at night. You see how they're dark.
Yeah, they're dark,
but they, like, you can see perfectly through them at night. Like, it's shaded just a tad bit on the inside. So on the inner layer. You know what I mean?
And you might want to think about some Sebastian Cho frames for prescription lens wearers.
Yep,
because
we got those.
We can't rock sunglasses like normal people.
Yeah, we got those. we got those as well. Most of the structure of some, like, most of my glasses, you can take them to your local, optometrist.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Classy Auto Rentals.
Classy Auto Rentals. I love cars. So, and I felt the need, anytime you find a problem, you find a business, and people are always looking for cars. So, I started with one car on Turo, and I just seen how fast it was going, and I was number one in Iowa for quite some time.
Wow.
On that platform. I'm not so much anymore. It's kind of getting saturated, and I have other endeavors that I'm doing, but yeah, I love the cars. I love being able to help people. It's a really good networking tool because most of my clientele, they fly in, they've never been to Des Moines before, so I'm telling them about local spots. I'm telling them about different businesses in the area, and it just works. It just works, and I put them onto a lot of businesses here, and I always hear when they check back in and they're on their way back out, that Des Moines is a beautiful place, that they didn't know, you know what I mean, that they're excited to come back, and all kinds of different things. Man, Des Moines is beautiful.
It is. I agree with you. It's like a hidden gem. I mean,
is.
The people who know about the city know about the city. The ones who don't, and they find out, and they're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've written a children's book and then the 8 Conversations to Have series, and I heard that you have a new book in the series coming called 8 Conversations to Have in Business.
Yep. 8 Conversations to Have in
When
Business.
When is that dropping? What is that about?
Well, first, with the 8 Conversations to Have series, I felt like I'm misunderstood at times, and I've noticed on social media how people can misinterpret what they read, and it's a human. It's very human, to have a lot of conflicts in communication with other people. So what I did with the 8 Conversations series, I wanted to create a family empowerment pack, which basically is a dad's perspective on certain things. And a lot of times a dad's perspective isn't heard.
This is true.
Or even valued.
Dad's perspectives aren't heard or valued. I think there's some truth to that. And I wonder why that is. Have you thought about why?
I think that the power, I mean, it's a deep conversation. I think the powers that be don't want us around because we are powerful. We do elevate the people around us. And a father's presence is huge, especially when it comes to a family structure, and my book series points out certain things that I failed at over the years, being a father. So I wanted to put my perspectives out there for any young parents that are, I was 19 when I became a dad. So I wanted to touch, my first book out of that series was 8 Conversations I Have with Your Son. And I wanted to touch on certain mistakes I've made, even with the mother of my child, things like postpartum depression that I had no idea about, how to communicate through that, how to communicate and make the bond between the people that you're with every day better, So I just wanted to get my perspective and hopefully have some people understand a different approach, and it hit like that. So I continued the series. I came out with 8 Conversations to Have with Your co-parent, then 8 Conversations to Have with yourself. And I think the 8 Conversations to Have with yourself would be like the first book. If I was to do it all over, I would do that first and then introduce people to other parts of the series. And then also the 4th book, 8 Conversations to Have with Your daughter. But these are real life experiences, all the mistakes. Like, I'm not preaching. I'm not trying to tell you should do this or you should do that. I'm just giving you people a different perspective of what I went through. And hopefully, somebody can learn from some of the lessons.
Right. And then the 40 Jewels books. I think there was 2 of those.
Yep.
Tell us about that. I've heard about the 40 Jewels, and I have almost all of your books except those. So those are on my list to get.
Yeah, 40 Jewels. Okay, so I turned at 40. I don't know about everybody else, but when I turned 40, I just felt like I sat back and I'm like, man, there's so much that I want to do in the future, but I just had a moment to just stop and think about everything over the last 4 decades. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Doesn't 40 seem like it's that middle point,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not quite the middle? I don't know what our life expectancy is now, but I do know that Black people have a lower life expectancy than many other groups.
Mm-hmm.
And 40, something does seem to happen for us in our minds and even culturally, our awareness to cultural things and social things. What happened for you at 40?
I totally agree. I talked to my Uncle Tracy one time right before I turned 40, and I said, he was 60-something at the time, and I said, what are your 40s like? What does 40 feel like? And he said, man, 40 is where you wake up. Like 20s, you mess up. 30s, you're trying to figure it out. 40s is like you hit your stride. And you understand that anything that comes your way, you could deal with it. You're stronger physically. You're stronger mentally. And 40 to me just feels like I feel younger.
You do? You feel younger?
I swear I feel young. I feel like I'm 22, 23. I don't know if it's the CMOS.
That's CMOS from Nico, okay?
CMOS from Nico, yeah. And Jeff got some good CMOS too.
Yeah.
So
that's nice. That's nice to hear. I feel like for me, when I hit 40, I did hit my stride too. Mm-hmm. It took, I went through a lot of things, like many people, decisions and stuff that cause a chain reaction of events in your life.
Yeah.
But something for me did click at 40 to let me know that, okay, I'm a grown-ass woman now. It's time to do some grown-ass woman things.
Yeah. And not only that, too, you're definitely grown, but you realize that things are okay.
Yeah.
Like, I all throughout my 20s, I was not happy. Regardless of what I was buying new cars, houses, all kinds of things, but I was just not happy because I felt like I'm just not satisfied. Now I can sit back and say, you know what? It's okay. Whatever comes my way, I could deal with it. We're going to make it work. You know, it's just a good space to be in.
I love this. I absolutely love it. And I love that you said anytime you find a problem, you'll find the opportunity to build a business. So that's a gem for someone out there listening. So I want to ask you, you know, as someone who has experienced both sides of the spectrum, whether it's, you know, the humble beginnings and struggle and hardship, and then the other side of that would be massive success in all of your business endeavors. I mean, wild success. What do you believe are the most common misconceptions that people might have about people like you who come from a certain set of circumstances, and then, you know, you have this success, but the challenging background is there? What are some misconceptions that people might have about people like you?
That's a good question. I think really a lot of times I feel like the success that I have, on the outside looking in, yeah, it might look like this and that, but I'm still the same. Like, I haven't changed. I've changed in a few ways, but as far as like me looking back at all my life, I'm still the guy that, you know, I could walk down the street over here, you know what I mean, and talk to whoever. I talk to the janitor just like I talk to the CEO. There's no, like, you know, people could say, oh, he might think he's all that or this and that. You know, people like us that have been successful, but really, when we come around, it feels like people change towards us. It's not us changing.
That's so true. So true. People's attitudes and perspective of who you are changes, but you to the core haven't changed,
and,
right?
Right, and it makes some social situations kind of uncomfortable because it's like sometimes you don't want to be the topic of discussion. Like sometimes you just want to come hang out and chill with the homies, chill with your friends. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it always seems like somebody might bring up something like a joke. You know,
those
Mr.
hater
Moneybags.
jokes.
Here's Mr. Moneybags.
Right.
I'm like, really? Like
hater jokes.
Yeah, like we're just normal people. You know what I mean? And when it comes to success, if you have a track record of success, it's like you're never satisfied. You're going to keep going. That was yesterday. Okay, cool. We did this yesterday. That's good. But there's still things to do in this world. There's still things to do. Like, my people are still hungry. Like, I'm still hungry. And I'll knock myself down because if I don't got that hunger, we talked about last time, the want. If I don't have that want, if I don't have that hunger, then I'll become complacent. I'll become, it's okay. I could chill out now, but it's not time for that.
What do you do with those people in your life who may have that kind of proclivity to tell a hater joke, Mr. Moneybags? I mean, do you distance yourself from them or do you confront them? What does that look like?
Everybody's put in a category, you know, and you don't let people see you sweat. You don't let people see what, you know, not everybody's privileged to that. Not everybody's privileged to your feelings. You know, you don't give your power away. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you laugh it off. A lot of times you check it right then, but if you do check it, it's on that level. But nowadays I don't want to match energies. Nowadays I just want to, okay, that's that person over there. Boom. Mental note category, you know, and then just keep it moving.
I love that. You don't want to match energy. Look at you answering your phone during a podcast. No, I'm joking. That's not a hater joke, everyone. That is like literally a joke. No, I'm with you. So how do you navigate the balance between, because I know, let me set this question up, is I know that you have one role that you play is mentorship. You're a mentor to a lot of people. You're a mentor to so many young people and also Black men who admire your business acumen and the way that you move through the world. How do you balance and navigate the balance between sharing your past experiences in order to inspire people while avoiding glorifying the past? Because the past is the past, right? But in order to continue to inspire people and to even mentor them and help them understand that you know where they're coming from, like you got to share a little bit of your story. So how do you balance between sharing for inspirational reasons and then doing so without glorifying what the past is.
That's
like.
another great question.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
This is what I do. This is what I do.
This is what you do, and you do it well.
Thank you.
I appreciate being here. There's several things that I would like to say to touch on that. First thing is that, when you're mentoring, especially little kids, they don't care what you used to be. They can't even see what you used to be. A lot of times people come in and, I've worked at Meyer Hall, juvenile detention. I've worked with, I've been a violence mediator for the city of Des Moines. And one thing that I realize is that when you get in front of these young kids, you got to get on their level, but you also don't want to brag about what you used to do or what you used to be. Because first off, it's not cool. It's not. It's a mindset thing. You want to get people off to another mindset. So glorifying what you used to do is definitely not it. But they don't care what you used to be. They think they're the hardest person in the world. So however hard you think you are, I remember being 15, 16, 17 years old and mentors tell, oh yeah, I used to do this, I used to do that. First off, that was back in your era.
Right.
But I got a pocket full of money in my pocket. You can't tell me anything. You know what I mean? I'm out here too. I'm hard-headed too, this and that. So I try to think about when I was a little kid, what I didn't listen to and what I would have listened to. And I try to give them that aspect like, hey, man, I messed up. I was, I was in the streets making dumb moves, and the more positive light that you talk about, the more that stuff just sounds bad. It just sounds unattractive after a while. The more light that you shine on what the positive things that you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, for example, you could tell a kid, oh man, you could go to school and make $70,000 a year, and they're looking at you like, first off, I don't know what $70,000 looks like because I don't pay bills. I'm 15 years old, 16 years old. You telling me to make $70,000 a year? I'm seeing these rappers throw $70,000 in a rap song. Like, who cares about that? You know what I mean? So it's a way that you gotta know your audience. You gotta know who you're talking to. And how you do that is by asking questions, getting to know them first, and then hit them. Like, when I do public speaking, I very rarely come with a script. I very rarely write anything down. And I try to get there before and ask the people what they need to hear, what they want to hear. What are you looking for today? Because I could get up there with a script and let them know this, and this, and make it a point, be very intentional on certain points that I want to make. But those points might miss that audience. They might not be looking for that. They might be looking for something else. So I try to be as beneficial as possible to whoever I'm around. So if I'm mentoring somebody, I get to know them first.
Can you tell me about a time when, because I'm really intrigued by your relationship with young people, and I knew that you were a violence intervention specialist. I don't know if that's the right phrase, or in that you worked with young people at Meyer Hall. But how has that impacted your life? Like, because I know that that's not work that you can leave at the office.
It's not.
You have to bring that home with you.
And I commend anybody that's trying to do anything with these young kids, because if your past wasn't light, it brings you back constantly. Like, I remember being behind the walls at Meyer Hall, and I'm walking in every day, and I'm hearing the door shut behind you, and I remember that. You know what I mean? And sometimes it was very difficult. I remember being on the street, and I'm the term that they deemed us, or that they call us, is violence interrupters.
Violence interrupters.
So we deal with the highest risk individuals, the ones that basically pull a gun first. Like, that's their first instinct, is to, hey, you know what? We're not talking. We're not fighting. I'm shooting you. And that's more common.
So your job was to interrupt that.
Was to interrupt that, talk to the individuals and try to change their mindset, talk to both sides, you know what I mean? Try to mediate as much as possible. You know what I mean? And it's a very, very powerful position, like, to just even be in that. And even though I don't work with Creative Visions and them today, I had to distance myself because I started doing all kinds of other things, but I'm still working with some of the same individuals. We still have a relationship today. We still, one one of the participants just called me the other day. And I still stay in touch. I'm still here. And that's one thing that doesn't leave. When you start building relationships with people, you might leave that job, but the relationship still continues. So now you still have this weighing in, and you got this over here. It's just a lot. But your past is constantly open. So you gotta take your me time. You gotta make sure that you're you're all the way together, because if you're not all the way together, then you're not going to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're not going to be effective. It's just
that's really interesting. I heard a woman on I follow her on Instagram. Mm-hmm. She said, "Heal before your next deal." And to me, that was so profound, because it's essentially what you're saying is center yourself and get yourself together, get yourself right before you make this next move or before you open that next door. You got to make sure that you're intact.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. So as you reflect on your journey, and at the time when you were mentoring young people, it seems to me like in looking at you in your life, that entrepreneurship has always been a part of your ethos, a part of who you are, that business mentality. Is that a strategy that you offer to young people, is start your own business? I mean, what advice do you give to young people who want to make a change or turn their lives around? Is it business, or what would it be?
Yeah, I'm a strong advocate. I'm a firm believer that your life is a business. You're born into this world. You get a social security number. You know what I mean? So that's basically like your business EIN number.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All through life, you're tracked on how you spend money by your credit. You know what I mean? That's more important than a lot of things, is how you budget, what you do with your time, everything. So it's like your life is a business. If you run your life like a business, and business meaning not just numbers. Business is a way of life. Business is time management. Business is being here on time at 12. That's business. We're handling business right now. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at things. I look at when you talk to somebody, when you wake up, you brush your teeth, you wash up, whatever you do in the morning, you know what I mean? Now you're getting presentable to handle your business. It's what it is. One of my closest friends, Brad Kleitman, growing up, you remember Brad?
I remember Brad. Oh, yeah.
Every
Remind me to tell you about this double date with Brad and Joe. I'll tell you about that sometime.
Why don't you tell her on air right now?
Oh, no. Oh, man. Well, you're going to put me on the spot. Let's stick to you. We got to stay focused on you.
No, but the reason why I bring up Brad is because every time that we would depart, hang up the phone or whatever, he'd say, handle your business. You know what I mean? And that's stuck. And it's like, you really, every chance you get, like, you're your brand. You come out in public, how you look, you're going to be perceived a certain way, just like people perceive businesses. You get reviews. When people say, hey, what do you think about John Martin? That's a review. You know what I mean? It's a business. Everything is a business.
That's an interesting outlook, because if we take that and apply it, everyone, we are our own business. We're walking billboards for our values and what we stand for. Then that means that impacts the way that we're able to help our community or not. So in terms of larger businesses, like business entities, what do you think the role of a business entity and an individual person as a business is in fostering some type of community-wide change? I mean, could you have had the impact on your community that you've had without considering yourself a business?
Could I have had that impact?
Yeah, like you're a business, John Martin. I mean, your name automatically, for people who are familiar with Des Moines, someone could say the name John Martin and they'll think of 3 or 4 different businesses. So you are a business, right? So the impact that you've been able to make on the community, on the young people, on men, on, even our hip hop community, could that have happened without this sense or mentality of having that mindset of you are a business?
That's another good question. I don't think so. I think that when you consider your life as a business, then you allow yourself to fail over and over. And a lot of us don't allow ourselves to fail, so we stop. We stop whatever we're doing. And sometimes we go hide. We don't come back out. You know what I mean? Because we're looking at that business entity that we try to start as the end all be all. And we put all of our everything into it instead of putting everything into ourselves. When we put everything into ourselves, we could fail a million times and get back up.
Do you think Black entrepreneurs have a responsibility to their communities? I know that's a tough question. I hear a lot of Black people in business say, I don't owe anybody anything. And that might be true, you know, and there's no fault in that thinking. But do you feel like Black entrepreneurs owe something to the communities out of which they come? I do. And it can be anything as far as providing an example. You know, like I try to give back as much as I can. Sometimes I try to give back money wise, but I know that monetary, most of the time, that's not helpful. It's not helpful. Most of the time, when I've given people money, and I'm not saying just with the community, I'm just saying it in my personal experience. When I've given people money, they'll end up asking for money again because they didn't know the proper steps for that money. So I'd rather just say, hey, look, this is how we do this. So
this
money is like putting a Band-Aid on an open wound, is what you're saying.
Yeah, sometimes when we talk about support that way, what I try to do is just be an example. Be an example. You know, the presence, you know, and being a father. You know, like I said, life is a business. Even as a father, whoever you're around, you're protecting at that moment. Whoever you're around, you're teaching at that moment. Like that's the obligation. The obligation is to teach.
That is dope. And I'm just gonna let that sit with me. The obligation is to teach.
It's not knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. Knowledge is power. So if you call me and say, hey, you know, I'd like you to have a donation. Okay, yeah, I could donate this $250 or $500 or whatever to your cause. Yeah, that's all well and good. But why don't I, instead of just that, or instead of that, why don't I give you some resources? So where it could turn into 250 instead of just here. Because a lot of people will donate money and think that they did something. You know,
their name will be on the program or on the flyer and that's it.
And that's it. Okay, well, I donated this money, but you don't know how that money, where that money went, whose hands that was in, who maybe they were irresponsible with the money. Maybe just they didn't know how to you know, make that money turn into 250, turn into 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that I think about before I just donate, because I really try to be as intentionally helpful and beneficial as possible. I think being a business, you got to be resourceful. So if you was to call me, we're going to work through something. I might spend an hour on the phone with you trying to figure out a plan, trying to help you help us or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's more beneficial than what I could do out of my pocket.
Okay, so I was poking around doing my research on my good old buddy, old pal, John Martin Sr., and I was on your social media page. Mm-hmm. And you made a couple of statements, and I want to throw those words to you and ask for some explanation. All right? The first thing that I saw not the first thing, but one of the things that I saw that you posted was your most prized possessions are your thoughts. Your thoughts control you. What do you mean?
Goes back to 8 conversations with yourself. The conversations that we have with ourselves daily, moment to moment, hourly, minute by the minute, is crucial because we can't escape ourselves. We can't escape our thoughts. We can't escape how we really feel. We can for the moment, but we know the real. So what I mean by that is, let's say I give you a compliment. Oh, your hair is beautiful. If you don't feel like your hair is beautiful,
thank you.
Right. But if you don't feel that, it don't matter what I say.
Right.
It matters what you think. Over and over, we don't know how valuable our own, or we ignore how valuable our own opinions of ourselves is. If we don't feel like we could do something, We got the world telling us that we could do it, but if we don't feel it, if we don't feel we can, we won't. Even if we could, most of the time we can. We got to give ourselves the opportunity, and a lot of us don't. A lot of us, and I've been there before. There's been tons of times where I've been in a situation where I felt like, man, I just can't do that. I can't do it. But
you mean can't as in not that you didn't have the ability, but that you didn't believe you could?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And that comes from conversations that you have. It comes from, a lot of us are traumatized. A lot of us have PTSD. A lot of us have anxiety. A lot of us have certain things that's going on with us. And we allow ourselves to, in those moments, we allow ourselves to tell ourselves whatever, and that controls us. Our thoughts really control us. So it depends on your higher self, bottom self. Some of us get stuck in the bottom self. We gotta constantly do our due diligence to rise above that. Tell ourselves, like I said, we gotta be our number one fan.
You also said, I'm not sitting at your table if it doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, I'll make my own table with no problem. What do you mean?
Now, the no problem part, what I mean by that is I don't have a problem with me separating and going doing my own thing. There might be some issues and problems along the way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With anything worth having, you're going to deal with some things. But I mean this. I understand. I'm self-aware. I know what I can do. I understand. Okay, if this isn't possible for us to make this connection and do something together, it's okay. I'll go do it over here. No problem. No sweat. No, nothing personal. Don't take it like it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Just you do you, I do me. And if you can create something, I can create something. If I can create something, you can create something. That's what that means.
And the last statement that I'll give back to you, you said, one day some folks will convert and think of me as a businessman instead of a hustler.
Yeah. And I've thought about this recently because I keep hearing the word hustle. And it's like, to me, a lot of times that word hustle, it's not as valuable as a businessman. It depends on who's saying it. It depends on how you look at that word. Now,
I mean, at the core, are they the same? Is a businessman and a hustler, aren't they the same?
To me, kinda, but I feel like a lot of people's perception of what a hustler is, they don't give it the same as a business. They think of, oh, he's just hustling. Like I had somebody say, oh, it seems more like a hustle than a business. I'm like, that's what made me think about that whole thing. Because before somebody brought that to my attention, I'm like, I'm a hustler. I'm a businessman. I didn't see any difference.
Right.
But now I understand people think of different things, and a lot of times when you bring up the word hustle, it has some negative behind it, like drug dealer. You know what I mean? Somebody that's kind of shiesty, that kind of thing. And I don't want to be represented like that.
What do you think it'll take for people to convert? And does it even matter if they convert or not? Because I feel like to a degree, your success is already speaking to how powerful you are in the business world, and whether or not other people see it, co-sign it, agree, it is what it is. So how important is it really for people to convert their thinking about that?
For them, I think it's important. For me, I don't care. I can't care about that. I can't. I thought about it. I thought it through. I let it go.
You thought about it and let it go.
I was like, man, I don't need to waste. But for people to see the difference, to see the strides that people make, like some people may take offense from that,
I mean, if they're offended, is it because they're not doing anything? The fact is, that when others are moving in the direction of their purpose, then they're less offended by someone else moving in their purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Ain't nobody got time to be mad. Like, what?
That's true.
So, yeah, interesting. Thank you, John, because I really wanted to go back and ask for that explanation. Those words are powerful. And it's something about, having a conversation with you about it, but then to look at your words on paper, it gives time for the words to be absorbed and for readers to really think about what you could possibly mean or how they themselves would interpret it. So I wanted to bring that to you. Thank you for indulging. How do you define success?
Oh, that word has changed over the years.
I thought so, because that was my follow-up is how has it evolved over time?
Yes.
So what was it to you, and then what is it now?
What was it to me? At one point, it was all about money. Success is money. I remember John Spinks. He used to be a mentor of mine, caseworker back in the day. Shout out to John Spinks. He would always see me out on the streets and try to give me some words of encouragement, this and that, and try to tell me that. But I'm sitting here like, man, where your money at? Like in my head, I'm thinking, you know what I mean? But he was so much powerful than just some money. Like money's not it. So success to me nowadays is looking around you and feeling like you're making an impact with the people around you. Feel like you're making feel like there's some happiness, there's some peace, Success, I don't know what 100% peace looks like. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody does. But if you have some peace, that's success.
I know I have this memory as you were just saying what you said about not knowing whether or not anybody understands what 100% peace looks like. I have this memory that I go back to periodically of the most peaceful moment for me. I was sitting in my front yard with no shoes on a hot summer day. It was July. And I had on a tank top and some denim shorts and no shoes, smoking a cigar. And the sun was beaming down on me and I was dripping with sweat. And that was the most peaceful I had been in like a decade.
That sounds peaceful.
I'm telling you, it was the best thing ever. And the cigar was a Cohiba, in case anybody wants to know. It was a Connecticut Cohiba. But I just, periodically, when I'm stressed or really, perturbed by something, I go back to that moment in my mind to try to relive that. Do you find yourself searching for peace in a similar way, or how do you pursue peace?
How do I pursue peace? I staying busy. I like being busy. I like feeling productive. I feel like I'm in my element if I'm creating something, if I'm working or helping somebody create something, or numbers driven. I like seeing numbers turn and multiply. I love that. That's peace for me. That's as much peace am I going to ever get out. I believe. I don't watch movies. I've probably watched maybe 10 movies out in my whole lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up with a TV. You know what I mean? So relaxing and just sitting around, like, I've never been that guy to just, when I think of peace, I think of relaxation.
Yeah.
Most people think of, just like you in your element, smoking your cigar. And I would like to experience that, but I just like to be moving.
Got you. Well, I'm definitely going to invite you to my cigar bar sometime.
You have to.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, quit it. I got a new cigar buddy. Okay, so looking toward the future, you mentioned that you feel really good when you're in your element and creating. What projects or initiatives? I know the book is dropping, but what are you excited about right now?
What am I excited about? I'm excited to see my daughter graduate.
Big ups to we talked about that
Jewel.
Last time. Go
that's
Janiyah.
My baby. Yeah. I'm excited to see how my son, John Martin Cutts, is doing. He keeps evolving. When I look at him, I see a man. You know what I mean?
That's
I'm very proud of him. I see a man. I have no complaints. Man, my son is amazing. You know what I mean? So I look forward to seeing him evolve, and just seeing the people around me just take off. That's what I want to see. I'm gonna be more on the backfield. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want to. I really want to enjoy me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning me. I'm still learning me.
That's a lesson that will continue throughout
Yeah.
your lifetime.
Yeah. So the next chapter, I want to focus on me a little bit, and I think the more I focus on me, the better I'll be for everybody else.
That's beautiful, John. Where can we find you if someone is interested in Team Strong Services, Sebastian Cho, The Line, Class C Auto Rentals, any of your books and literature that you've created? Where can people find that?
All right. So anybody that needs help marketing their brands, I tell you, we have the best team in the world. The president of Team Strong Inc., Jessica Trinidad, she is a monster when it comes to strategies and being really, really impactful for your business. So Team Strong Inc., you can reach us at info@teamstronginc.com. And we'll be able to help you with a consultation or whatever. Like, we're here to help you. So info@teamstronginc.com. The books are found at 8conversationstohave.com. That's the number 8conversationstohave.com. They're available now, or you can go to Walmart. You can go to BarnesandNoble.com and order off of those outlets. My social media, I'm working on my Instagram. What
do you mean working on your Instagram?
I'm just trying to build up my Instagram more because I do a lot of dealings on the West Coast. So everybody on the West Coast, hey, what's your IG? What's your IG? What's your IG? They don't mess with the Facebook really too much. So Facebook is more of the Midwest thing, I think. But Instagram, I'm really trying to tap into that. I'm scared of TikTok a little bit because
it is what it is. But I try X. Go X. Okay, Twitter X. Yeah.
Okay.
Get on there. Do your thing on there.
Okay.
Anyway, my bad. You're supposed to be sharing, and I'm interrupting.
No, you good. That's good info. I appreciate it. Twitter X. Okay. So yeah, that's where you find me, Dr. Martin Sr., on Instagram, and you just catch me in traffic.
Love it.
Not hard to find.
So last time, as is our tradition here on Black and Privileged in America podcast, I always ask our guests for a book recommendation. Clearly, you have a whole stash of books that you've authored. Are there any other books that you like to recommend with our audience, or just to go get one of yours? And when is 8 Conversations to Have in Business dropping?
I'm like halfway done with it right now.
Okay, so it's still in progress.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
It's still in progress. I want to say maybe first part of June. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm trying to buy 2 cars today, and I really want to get this rental car service really banged out. And plus, my daughter's graduating here pretty soon, so I want to make sure she's a priority because this has been one journey getting her through high school. So
well, pats on your back for sticking in there with her.
Man, yeah, shout out to her, man. She lasted way longer than I did, so it's a beautiful thing.
So at some point in 2024.
Sometime this year it's dropping.
We just need to stay tuned.
Yep. I definitely want to get a men's conference to set up here pretty soon too. I've been talking about that for about a year and a half. So
wonderful. Well, I brought a book too, and this is a book that reminds me of you and all that you do, mean, and stand for. It's called Lucky Me by Rich Paul. He is LeBron James' manager. And they go way back from childhood, and he's built this incredible empire off of grit and instinct. And I think you and him have some parallels there. And so I would like to recommend that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Definitely do.
Thank you, John, for being here.
Thank you for having me always.
Oh, and one more thing. Thank you for calling Black and Privileged in America podcast the best podcast in Iowa. Quit it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure. I tune in. So
thank you. I'd like to again extend my deepest gratitude to John Martin Sr. for sharing his wisdom and his infectious positivity with us once again. As I wrap up today's episode, I'm left feeling immensely inspired by John's incredible journey and unshakable resolve to make a positive impact. From his humble beginnings to his current role as a business mogul and mentor, John reminds us of the power of resilience, self-determination, and connection. No matter where you come from or what challenges you face, be optimistic for a brighter day. Keep engaging, keep questioning, keep striving. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.